actually not going to give it. I'm going to submit it for the record. And I want to recognize my good friend, Dr. John Joyce, who represents this area for the remainder of my time. I'll yield to Dr. John Joyce.
Thank you for yielding, Chairman. Thank you for yielding, Chairman Guthrie. And I would also like to thank Chair Rogers, Ranking Member Tonko, for coming to the Pennsylvania 13th Congressional District. The poignancy of being at Gettysburg is not lost on the members of Congress. The battles that we face when we deal with addiction and the battles that families face is an important message to bring home with the great panels that we've assembled here today. As we approach the 160th anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg, we do recognize that over 7,000 Americans who lost their lives at this site, and remember that sacrifice as we meet on another incredibly devastating issue, and that is the issue of addiction. This is a scourge upon America. And drug overdoses, which in recent years, as Chair Guthrie just pointed out, have taken over 100,000 American lives annually, leaving behind the devastation to family, to friends, to coworkers. As we look as a committee and as a Congress to address these matters, we have to look at the communities. That's what we're here today to do. We want to hear what recommendations, what impact, how the Support Act can be enhanced, how it can be extended. So far this year, we have made progress by passing the Halt Fentanyl Act, which will permanently schedule fentanyl analogs that have been flooding our communities with a deadly substance, leaving death and tragedy in its wake. In 2022 alone, the DEA seized almost 379 million deadly doses of fentanyl, which is enough to kill every man, woman, and child in the United States. And that's just what was seized. That's what we were able to capture. That's not what came through and ended up on the streets throughout the United States. And I am hopeful that this bill will pass the Senate and be signed into law. There's a lot more work that needs to be done in supporting local law enforcement, healthcare providers, and parents who are facing these issues every day with those in the throes of addiction. In 2018, President Trump signed the Support Act into law, which is a comprehensive measure aimed at combating addiction and helping treatment for those facing the disease. Yet despite those efforts and the exacerbated response by COVID-19, we're still seeing those increased deaths, and we must examine how the Support Act can be enhanced, improved, and address the issues that you bring for us today. We must also be examining what policies need to be addressed to ensure that all patients have access to crisis and recovery services and the ability to receive the treatment that they so desperately need. Some of these barriers include looking at the impact of IMD exclusion, which has restricted access to residential and inpatient care, and whether this can be modernized to ensure the availability for the treatment of patients. The Support Act also recognizes that to ultimately be successful in combating the opioid misuse crisis, we must do a better job helping the 50 million Americans who suffer from chronic pain. Pain is a serious and growing disease which is more prevalent in older adults, women, veterans, blue-collar workers, and people living right here in Pennsylvania's rural 13th Congressional District. The Support Act contains numerous pain-related provisions directing the federal government to promote patient awareness and access to non-opioid therapies. I would like to request that the statement from the U.S. Pain Foundation be entered into the record. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Chairman yields back, and I will